Hi, everyone. It's Heather Burkhart with For Wellbeing, Ayurveda, and Yoga. Welcome. Tonight is our full moon circle for August of 2024. Welcome. A few things to expect tonight. We'll go over some astrological information about tonight's full moon. Then I have a visualization and meditation for you that includes some optional journal prompts. So you might take a moment and grab some paper and a pencil or a journal and maybe something to sip on while you listen in. Now, the journal prompts are completely optional. You're welcome to just listen in. We'll also do some intention setting as well for to wrap up this lunar cycle. The full moon is usually at the apex of the lunar cycle, and now we're going to be coming down to the other side and starting the lunar cycle all over again with the next new moon. Then we'll have a little bit of optional sharing and some Q&A, and I'll talk a little bit about the next moon circle. First, I'd like to point out a big difference between Vedic and Western astrology. In Vedic astrology, we talk about the lunar mansions, or they're called nakshatras. And the moon visits a different nakshatra on every day of the lunar cycle. And so the moon changes this lunar mansion or station every day. The nakshatras represent a network of stars behind the zodiac. So you can imagine this network of stars overlapped on top of each zodiac sign, each constellation, each of them representing a different stage of the soul's journey towards moksha or enlightenment. They also represent a different deity that lends their divine personality or traits to that particular lunar day or holiday or nakshatra. They are believed to be the key to understanding the soul's purpose in this lifetime. The current nakshatra for this full moon is Dhanista. Dhanista. And Dhanista is ruled by Mars. So he is quite bold. And the focus is on Dharma. Dharma being your calling or your purpose in life. In other words, why are you here? And Danista has this message for you. He wants you to be in tune with the cosmic flow, to plug in to your ancestral lineage and to see the big picture of your bigger purpose here on earth. He says, I am fierce and I am bold, and yet I am grounded and strong. I have the courage to follow my own rhythm. In other words, he's saying that I want to encourage you to have the courage to follow your own rhythm, to dedicate yourself to your inner call with high ambitions. This is a message from Danista. And if you want to learn more about the nakshatras, they're fascinating. If you love astrology, especially Vedic astrology, that's a rabbit hole for you if you'd like to go there. But we'll say a few more words about Dhanista. Each nakshatra is ruled by a particular deity. And this nakshatra, Dhanista, is ruled by the Vasus. Vasus are the 8 elemental forces. They are earth, water, fire, the sun, the moon, the stars as a whole. And then there's ether as well, which is this huge, expansive container within which we all exist. So they create the universe, they sustain the universe. They're also responsible for this natural creation and destruction cycle, birth and rebirth. And this happens in your internal universe and it happens in our external universe, if that makes sense. So these eight elemental forces are really driving life, life as we know it inside of us and outside of us. The Vasas help us reach for the stars. They really are very goal oriented in terms of your Dharma while keeping our feet on the ground. This is important because we can lose track of ourselves. We can get lost. We can become overwhelmed or distracted from our Dharma. So Dhanista is interested in keeping you true to your purpose in life and always moving in that direction. And the greater principle of Vedic astrology is that is what is always happening. Whether you're aware of it or not, the universe is gently, sometimes not so gently, nudging you in the right direction, meaning the direction for you that pushes you towards your calling. So, really, every day, this opportunity is made known to us if we're paying attention, if we are listening. A little about this full moon's astrology. This full moon, August full moon, lands in Aquarius, which is one of my favorites because my moon is in Aquarius. And when we're talking about full moon astrology, you may look to your moon sign as well, because this sign may play a little bit more loudly during the full moon. So, anyways, this full moon is in Aquarius. It is a cardinal air sign, and it is ruled by our great, big, beautiful Saturn. The Aquarius zodiac sign is known as the water bearer, interestingly enough, as an air sign. The symbol is the water bearer or the constellation. And she is the harbinger of life, of abundance, of nourishment. Not just nourishment, but also in new ideas, innovations, and resources. So she is creating life, she is sustaining life, and she is finding new ways to bring forth life. So these people are very much interested in pouring themselves into their work. They're very service oriented and sharing this abundance, this knowledge with all around them. They're very cerebral people, very much in their heads, which is why it's important for them to remain securely grounded as they're exploring. They're very, very curious and active minds. They're very egalitarian. They're interested in equality and equity. They're eccentric as well. So they can work outside of their comfort zones without much problem. They're also innovative, coming up with new ideas. They can be visionaries, and they can be fairly independent and outspoken and even progressive. And so they're the ones that are bringing ideas to us that maybe we may have not considered before, that may be useful. Taking a closer look at Saturn, Saturn, our big, beautiful outlying planet, way out there in the universe, with its beautiful organized rings. So Saturn is the disciplinarian of the universe, but in a good way. So he keeps us true to our duties, to our responsibilities. He asks us to find harmony through organization and structure. So he really likes discipline and being dutiful in terms of what makes sense for our soul's journey, for our next phase in that journey. Saturn in particular can remind us of boundaries, of limitations and constriction. So we might bump up against something that is there for a reason. If that's happening, think about why that boundary is there, why that limitation is there, and is it worth transcending that limitation, or does that boundary serve us in some way that may not be as obvious? It also makes us aware of time, and it can make us aware of illness and suffering as well. And Saturn brings these to us, not as a way to bind us or punish us. Rather, they are vehicles, they are opportunities for learning about our own boundaries, our own limitations, when we need to think outside of the box, when we need to stay inside of the box, when we need to move past that constriction, or when constriction and self-preservation is good, and how we can bow down to time and how we can take care of ourselves to protect against not only physical illness, but also emotional and mental suffering as well. So Saturn really is about, keeping us true to ourselves so that we can, again, move forward on our path. The Muladhara, the root chakra, is associated with Aquarius, and this makes a whole lot of sense because we really need a strong foundation in order to bring these fresh new ideas, in order to share so much of ourselves. Working with the root or Muladhara chakra is so important. So we have our strong sense of self. We don't lose ourself. We have a sense of security and belonging. We know who we are. So this is an important chakra or energy center to cultivate during this Aquarius full moon. Aquarius rules the lower legs, in particular the ankles and the calves, and also the circulatory system. You can think of the calves as the second part of our lower body. It's responsible for pumping blood back up to the heart, otherwise known as blood return. So it really helps to boost blood flow, which is kind of what we need when we're sharing ourselves and sharing ideas and serving the world. The retina falls under Aquarius as well. And so taking care of the eyes is especially important at this time, and also our bioelectrical system. So protecting and preserving our own bioelectrical system by maybe taking some time away from electronics and external electrical system so we can retune ourselves to the natural flow of things, to plug into nature, in other words. So a few astrological supports and remedies here. These are full moon rituals for the Aquarian moon, full moon. In terms of yoga practice, if you are doing yoga, a more grounding practice is going to strengthen the earth energy, because Aquarius is this very ethereal and airy sign. We need that earth energy for balance. A practice that's focused on the lower body to not only strengthen the lower body, but also nourish the root chakra. And from the strong foundation, we can allow the upper body to flow and flourish. So we can find a more inspiring yoga flow. We can be a little bit more creative as long as we stay grounded in what feels good and feels right to us. Pretty much giving your body creative license to So just flow, go with the flow. Again, the focus is on ankle and calf health. So work on boosting circulation. You might use some strong standing postures. You might go for some long walks to boost circulation and work out the ankles and the calves, the lower legs. Again, this is a time for vision health. Care for your vision. Take some time away from screens. Spend more time in nature. The color green and blue is very soothing to our nervous system. And we in Vedic anatomy and physiology, we understand that eyes are an extension of the nervous system. So we take all sorts of stimuli, information in through the eyes. So going for a soothing walk out in nature is really helpful. It's those soothing, cooling greens and blues that can be very nourishing for the eyes and for the nervous system. Some guardian herbs for Aquarius include lavender, peppermint, jasmine, rosemary, myrrh, kava kava, and cacao. So some of these herbs are definitely very stimulating to the mind, but also can be calming, like lavender or jasmine. And then we have things like kava kava and cacao that are pretty stimulating. We want to use those in moderation, but if you're trying to strengthen Saturn or Aquarius energy, then you can use more of those herbs if that is helpful to you. For Aquarians, for native Aquarians who might want herbs that act more as a remedy, more grounding herbs. Grounding herbs are ones like oat straw, very strengthening, soothing, nourishing. Oat straw comes from the oat plant. So, you know, we're all familiar with oatmeal and how nourishing that is. So the straw of the oat plant is equally very nourishing. Um, Passion flower is very calming to the mind, as is skullcap and valerian. These last two especially helpful with sound sleep, since Aquarians can be very caught up in their mind. It's easy for them to get overly wired and have a hard time winding down and falling asleep and getting good, deep quality sleep. So sometimes I love the word skull cap because that's really what the herb does. It kind of puts a cap on your head and allows you to sleep. And Aquarian types really do need these sleep aids to get deep sleep and allow themselves to dream. Valerian does that as well. Burdock and nettles are more for nourishing the blood, the circulation system. Burdock is especially detoxifying to the blood and liver. You know, if we have some impurities in our blood and livers that we need to release on the full moon. And also nettles is so nourishing, very high in iron and many vitamins and minerals. It's really like taking um like a vitamin, really. They're so incredibly nourishing. Very drying, so it has a lot of this air energy that Aquarians love. And so usually nettles need to be um combined with other earthy, grounding, or spicy or spices to give it some grounding and fiery energy because it is so very drying. So I like to combine nettles. If you love working with stones and crystals at full moon, you might want to pull out your garnets, amethysts, jade, or turquoise. You can adorn yourself with these stones. You can lay them out on your altar. Certainly put them in a place where the full moon light can reach them. Maybe even if figuratively, just lay them out on a windowsill, maybe next to your bed, and let them be cleansed and also receive the full moon light. Okay, so lots of full moon rituals to take advantage of for this full moon. And if you're looking for more ideas, don't forget to go to my blog page that talks more about the yoga practice. There's a yoga video that I release with each moon holiday. Um, there's some more herbs to look at. I usually have a recipe. I think this month's recipe is for a green tea recipe because Aquarians might love being caffeinated because it helps to fuel their brain. But we usually need to take it easy. Aquarians need to take it easy on caffeine because it can give them the jitters and make them feel really ungrounded and flustered. Remember, we really want to keep them grounded and in their bodies. So a little bit of green tea can give you a little bit of boost without the jitter. So look for that on the blog post. Okay, now it's time for our meditation. So take a moment. You might find a comfortable seat. You may even lay down. You can even go for a walk at this time if that feels right for you, weather permitting. Take a sip of something nourishing and we'll settle in. Again, you want maybe a piece of paper, a journal, and a pencil or pen to jot some ideas down as we start our guided visualization and meditation for this full moon in Aquarius. First, I'll invite you to become aware of your body. First, the physical body, feeling your seat if you're sitting down. Maybe you're lying down. Just get a sense of your body in time and space, just as it is right now. You may also notice your breath. Notice how your breath is showing up in your body right now. Notice where you feel the breath come and go. Is it deep? Is it shallow? Just getting a sense of the breath and tune into this dance between body and breath. We have the vehicle for life, the body, and we have the energy of life, which is the breath or prana, as it's known in Sanskrit, prana, meaning vital life energy brought by the breath. And now tapping into that energy that you feel from the breath, visiting. It comes and it goes. And there's a pause between the breaths. And you can visit that pause if you'd like. And there is a stillness in the pause in between the breaths, in between a breath in and a breath out. And now, wherever you are, I invite you to go on a little walk with me. We'll go out into the night air. Imagine it's the perfect night. The air feels cool. Or maybe you like the air to feel warm. You decide. This is your visualization. So you come out and it's perfect. The night air is crisp. The sky is clear. You can start to see some twinkling stars in the sky. And out you go. And we're walking. Where are you walking? Imagine suddenly you are in your favorite place. Maybe you're walking around your backyard. Maybe you're walking next to the lake or the ocean. Maybe you're walking your favorite prairie or forest path. Wherever you are, get a sense of your surroundings and start to scan the sky, looking for the moon. She is shining bright up above you, not too far above the horizon. There she looms, heavy and large and glowing. You can notice this moon glow on you, this moon glow on everything around you. And there's this quiet energy that infuses the atmosphere. And we're walking. You feel each step fully with each foot. You're fully aware of how you feel and how everything looks. And maybe now you'd like to look for a place to sit. So we can sit and gaze at the moon, beautiful full moon, and simply take in this light. You can close your eyes. Imagine you're closing your eyes. Take some deep breaths in and let those breaths out. Drawing in this moon energy. It is cooling. It is soothing. It's so gentle and extremely nourishing and grounding. This huge mass looming in the sky. You're looking at her and she's beaming down on you. She is beaming on you. Take that in with a few more breaths, as many more breaths as you'd like, just to simply receive. You can close your eyes, you can keep them open. And in this moment, I want you to imagine other women where you live, or maybe on the other side of somewhere else, on the other side of the planet, who have also sat here where where you sit, gazing upon the moon. Think of the many women before you who have done the same. Women who have walked with the moon, who have gazed at the moon, who have honored the moon. She plays a very special role in a woman's life. She governs the lunar cycle that reflects, that mirrors the menstrual cycle. She is the great mother in the sky. So we are part of her legacy and she part of ours. And the legacy continues and will go forth. There will be more women after you. Let's take a moment to sink that in, get a sense of you in time and space, and get a sense of this long, long legacy of women who have honored the moon. Goes back generations, generations, and generations. Your ancestors. Tuning in to ancestors, ancestral wisdom, and knowing that line of wisdom moves straight through you, whether you're aware of it or not. There is a way to remember, to get in touch. And now shifting gears here, if you'd like to bring out your journal or some pen and paper, I have journal prompts for you at this time. Or you can just stay with a visualization and listen. And we'll think of these journal prompts while we're keeping Aquarius in mind, all those themes that we spoke of. Where are you on your spiritual journey? Otherwise known as the soul's journey in this lifetime. I want you to step back and look at the big picture. Big, big, big picture. Where are you on your journey? It could be really simple. It could be very simple, or it could be more complex. Where are you? Thinking of Saturn and how he may very slyly place obstacles or limitations. Are those present? Do you feel those getting in your way? And why are they there? Are they there for a good reason? Boundaries can be good. However, they can also bind us and keep us from moving on in our soul's journey. And just think about your relationship with these obstacles. And it could be a challenge as well. Let's say there are some obstacles there. Maybe you're not aware of them. Think about what innovations can help you with these challenges or obstacles. How might you approach them in a different way? How can you think about them differently? What inspiration do you need to transcend these challenges or obstacles? And what are your next steps? Where do you see yourself going from here? Or are these obstacles asking something different of you? And are they worth considering? Remember, we don't always know. In fact, we don't. We don't know always what our actual next steps are. The universe may show you something else. Either way, you really can't go wrong. Remember, the universe is supporting you all along the way. We may take detours. We may take the scenic route. We may take a shortcut. And what is a good mantra or phrase to help you keep an open mind and an open heart about all of this? What words of encouragement would be helpful? Just jot down a few words. It could be something really cheesy like, it's all good. Or it could be something that really speaks to your heart. And it could be very simple as well. It's okay. I'm okay. And what spiritual practices do you think would be most supportive right now? Do you need to sit in meditation? Are you called to go for a long walk? Are you called to sit down with a friend and talk? What is it that you need? Remember, let's have an open mind about what spiritual practices are right now. Do you just need to cook yourself a yummy, nourishing meal? What practices do you need right now? Take a few more minutes to wrap up your thoughts. And remember, I want you to come back to these thoughts at the next new moon when we start our new lunar cycle. To look back at the new moon, we're going to create some new intentions. So these are really looking back. How these first 2 weeks of the lunar cycle, how have they been? How are things going? Right? And at the beginning, we're resetting the stage based on who's in the sky, who's winking at us in the sky, who's giving a side eye in the sky. All right, it's time to look ahead to September 2024. My goodness. Um, the good news, really fantastic news is currently, this is not so fantastic. Mercury is in retrograde at this full moon. And some of you may be feeling that, especially if your sign is ruled by Mercury. That's our, oh gosh, I might get that wrong, so I'm not going to say. Um, but yeah, if Mercury is strong in your chart, you may really feeling that. Mercury is a very fast-moving planet, and when he goes backwards, he's usually saying he's pulling the reins in a little bit, going, whoa, hold on. Let's pause. Let's stop even and look back. Did we miss something? Do we need to take a couple back steps? Do we need to look over our shoulder? Is there something that we've forgotten? He's so fast that sometimes we rush into things when he's direct. So retrogrades aren't necessarily a bad thing, although he can play havoc with electronics and travel and things like that. So that can be less fun. Good news is that his retrograde does end on August 28th. But in the meantime, just be prepared to maybe, expect some delays, expect things to take a little bit longer than usual, expect mishaps, so just be careful. Mercury retrograde just says for us to be a little bit more careful than we usually are. The next new moon is on September 22nd in Leo. So for all you Leos out there, that's a great start to the month. And then our full moon will be in Pisces. So we start with this very fiery, confident new moon when usually energy is a little low. So we'll see how that plays out with our strong Leos. And then our full moon lands in Pisces, this water sign, much more emotional. So expect a more emotional full moon come September. And don't forget to register for the next full moon circle. I think I have it here. It's Monday, September 16th at 7 o'clock Central Time. We'll do the same thing where we'll look at the astrological information. I'll have a visualization prepared for you, as well as all the fun remedies and rituals. I thank you for joining me tonight. Let me backtrack just a little bit. Oh, don't forget, you can download for free my moon calendar and journal for 2024. It will help you track your full and new moon dates. It has planetary information for Vedic astrology. It has zodiac seasons, lots of fun stuff in here. There's journal pages, affirmation pages, and when you download that, you'll also be invited to book a Vedic birth chart reading with me, so you can see where the planets are placed in your chart at the moment you were born. Vedic is different because we do view the zodiac in a slightly different way, so it may change things for you, it may not. Let's reach out if you'd like to. You'll be invited to set that up if that's what you'd like to do, to learn more about what planets are your power planets, and which ones are the ones that can be a little bit more interesting. Again, thanks for joining me tonight, and we'll have some time for sharing now. I'm going to pause the recording. And at this time, if you want to unmute and come on screen, you're welcome to do that. It's totally optional. The sharing is optional. Anyways, for all of you listening to the recording, thanks for being here. And I hope you'll join me next time for the full moon circle. I'm Heather with Her Wellbeing, Ayurveda, and Yoga. Take care.